here with Melissa Anelli, the CEO of Mischief Management, which is behind Con of Thrones and LeakyCon, which is a Harry Potter fan convention. Con of Thrones coming to Orlando in 2020. So, Melissa, tell me how this all started.
Yeah, Mischief Management started as a bunch of Harry Potter fans who wanted to make their own fan convention and just have the fan convention be as by the fans as it could possibly be and make sure that fans' voices were really represented and that fan communities could flourish at these events. So we started with our first event, LeakyCon, in 2009. That was in Boston. Actually going to have our 10th anniversary celebration back in Boston in about a month. And then in 2011, we went to Orlando, and Orlando became a very quick, amazing home for our conventions. The excitement from the community, the passion that we get from the people who love Harry Potter, and now the people who love Game of Thrones was so tangible there. So we are just incredibly excited to come back.
So, what is it about Orlando that makes it such a great place to do these types of events?
Well, I think culture is sort of baked into the Orlando landscape, but not just because of the parks, but because there's like an air of celebration about going there. Everybody around the country sees this as a destination to really enjoy the things that you love so much. You've always got great weather, except for that 1 hour a day when it rains, which is cool. And it's really just been such a bright and vibrant place. We've had many events there in the past, and we haven't been in a few years. So it's really like coming home.
So, not only are you a CEO, but you're also a writer. You're the author of a New York Times bestseller, Harry: A History. So, which is obviously based upon Harry Potter. So, tell me about how your passion for that began.
So I grew up on more books than I could, like my bag would be overflowing. Family would say that they could never find me in photos because I was off in the corner reading a book, which was absolutely true. And stories are just such a big part of my life. And when I read Harry Potter the first time, it was between books 4 and 5. And it was in that 3 year summer, we call it, where there was not a new book for a while. And so what I found instead, while I was doing my frantic searching on the internet for the next chapter of Harry Potter, was the fan community. And the fan community has really shown me and so many people how it's so possible to use the things that you love to be creative in your own way. And for me, that meant journalism. I was a reporter for the Staten Island newspaper, the Staten Island Advance. I was a reporter. And this website, the Leaky Cauldron, was the only site, literally only fan site at the time, doing reporting about not just sharing things they liked about the stories they loved, but also doing journalism on it, doing beat reporting on Harry Potter. What was that in 2000? And so I joined up with the Leaky Cauldron website and started working in the fan community from there. And then after 9 or 10 years, or I think it was 6 or 7 years, running so many aspects of this community, I decided to put it all down in a book. And so took all those skills from all those different sort of career paths and merged them into Harry: A History, which is my book about the Harry Potter phenomenon, which features a foreword from J.K. Rowling, and she was so gracious enough to write. And it's I'm also, writing these days means so many things. Writing means creating podcasts. Writing means being on social media. Writing means communication. And fan communities really do help a person hone and understand where their particular voice comes from. At least that's what I found.
So we talked about your love for these types of stories, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and they have some of the biggest fandoms around. So let's talk about the actual conventions and the process that you guys go through to make these big things happen.
So Mischief Management is a company of about 20 people because of all the events that we do. It's larger than I ever imagined it would be, and because of all the events we do around the globe. But we have a dedicated team of 4 or 5 on each particular event, and then a variety of other input from other people. But like in terms of like people whose job it is full time to work on those events, that's about where it sits. And so we're talking about 3 or 4 thousand people a day normally is what we get at this event. We have room for more in Orlando, so we're really excited about that. And what we do is we come at it first from a fan perspective. That's always first for us. What does a fan want to see? And what allows us to do that while having room to grow and while having room to bring in big, exciting things? So last year, for instance, we had all the things that were important. Debates about the final series talks about women in Westeros and their role and how they're portrayed in the books. It's really the variety of topics that fans can get into. People say to us, you know, if the books are over, I mean, the TV show is over, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, the books aren't over. And as we've seen from Harry Potter, there is no end to the amount of fulfilling and amazing discussions that fans can have. So we start there, and then we add fan activities and things that really foster the community. And then on top of that, you add the starry celebrity aspect, where you bring in people who were actually the thing. Last year, we had Nikolai Coster-Waldau come, and he was phenomenal. Jerome Flynn came last year, and we're already talking to a number of people about booking real early so that we can let people know ahead of time who they can expect. And that's always an ongoing process. You never know when that's going to happen. So, you know, it's there's no guarantee on when people agree to come, but we try to get them as soon as we can so that people can make their plans.
So in the past, I've seen some really cool things you guys have brought to Con of Thrones, like dire wolves. Are there any surprises we can expect to see from Con of Thrones in Orlando next year?
I think that you have not seen the last animal related to the Game of Thrones series. We've already got interest in bringing some of that out, but we do have to check permits and things. So I don't want to confirm it right now, but I think that you will see some animals. We're always looking to bring in more behind the scenes stuff because we think that's really amazing and cool. We've had effects people. Miltos Girolamo always comes and does a water dancing class where he shows you the Bravos dancing. It's a big hit every year, and he's such a wonderful person. So we're going to try and bring that back as well. And then you just gotta keep tuned to the site and the socials so you can see what we've got up our sleeves. We always have a really big costume contest as well. The costumes last year were so incredible. The Sansa, I was like I was looking at the show. It was almost freaky. It was amazing.
Melissa, it's been great talking to you, but before I go, I have to ask, if you had to pick one or the other, would you pick Harry Potter or Game of Thrones?
I know it's rude, but Harry's my first love. I love Game of Thrones. Love it, love it, love it. But your first love is the one you pull out of the fire. You know what I'm saying?
And you're bringing LeakyCon to Orlando soon, right? After Con of Thrones?
Yes. 2 weeks after Con of Thrones. We're just going to live in Orlando for a while. It's going to be great.